What are the amendments to the smoke and carbon monoxide alarm regulations 2015? Well, if you are a landlord, a letting agent, a tenant, or even a gas engineer, then you need to watch this video. So, let's get on with it. Now, from the 1st of October 2022, the 2015 regulations for smoke and CO alarms is being amended, and it will now be called the Smoke and CO Alarm Regulations 2022 brackets England, because it only takes England into account. Scotland have already changed theirs, and Wales are going to be changing theirs by the end of this year too, to bring in line what everybody else is doing. You can also find this information in Building Regulations Document J, which is combustion appliances and fuel storage, but it's only a tiny little section. There's not that much information there really, but you can find it there too. So what are the major changes then? Well, the first one for smoke alarms is that every floor of the building needs to have a smoke alarm, whether it is now privately rented or whether it's social housing. Now, it's been the private rented section since 2015, so social housing now will have to have smoke alarms. But the regulations don't tell you whether these smoke alarms need to be hardwired or whether they're battery operated. And it doesn't tell you where they need to be installed. They say refer to the manufacturer's instructions. But that's the first major change. Every rented house now needs a smoke alarm on each floor of the building. And where CO alarms are concerned, from the 1st of October, all rented properties will require a CO alarm in the rooms where fuel burning appliances are. Now, it used to be if it was solid fuel. It now takes into consideration gas appliances. And again, whether it's rented or whether it's social housing, it will require CO alarms. The only room you don't put a CO alarm in is in a kitchen if you've got a cooker. But I'll explain that a bit further on. Now, a big change for gas engineers is if you install a gas burning appliance, obviously except a cooker, then you will need to install a CO alarm, even if it's not a rented property, so any property in the UK. So from the 1st of October 2022, all us gas engineers have to carry CO alarms now and install them when we install our gas appliances, obviously except cookers. Now, if landlords don't fit these CO or smoke alarms, they could get up to a £5,000 fine. But first they will be given a remedial action notice first, and they have 28 days to comply to the new regulations after this remedial action notice. Now, what type of smoke alarms are actually required then? Well, like I said, the regulations doesn't actually tell us whether they need to be hardwired or battery operated or permanently fixed. But it does say if you do use a battery operated one, that the batteries should last the life of the smoke alarm. That means the tenants can't take the batteries out and use them in the remote control. That's basically the only thing it says. And it has to be made to British standards 5839 part 6. And that's basically it. And it says the landlord should fit the correct smoke alarms for their property, whatever that means. So I guess it means basically follow the manufacturer's instructions when buying and installing these smoke alarms. Now, what about the carbon monoxide alarms? Well, basically they say pretty much the same as the smoke alarms do, saying the battery has to last the life of the alarm, which is normally about 5 years. Don't quote me on that, but it's normally about 5 years. But the British standards it needs to comply with are BS 50291. So where do these smoke alarms and CO alarms need to be located? Well, as far as the smoke alarms are concerned, like I said at the beginning, they need to be installed one on each level. Normally that would be on the ceiling, in the hallway and the landing. That's basically it. As far as the CO alarms go, that's slightly different. Obviously they need to be located in the same room as the fixed appliance, obviously except where there's a cooker. Now if you've got a boiler and a cooker in the same kitchen, then you should be putting the CO alarm in your living room if it's off the kitchen, or any room off the kitchen like a dining room. You don't put the CO alarm in with the cooker. I'll tell you about cookers in a minute. And best place is on the ceiling, and it has to be a minimum of 300 millimeters off the wall. Now if you do put it on the wall, it needs to be as high as possible, but not closer than 150 mil to the ceiling. It needs to be above all windows and doors, and at between 1 and 3 meters away from the appliance. It's dependent upon the alarm what's installed, so always read the manufacturer's instructions before installing these CO alarms. Now, why are gas cookers like these exempt from having CO alarms in the same room then? Well, technically it's because cookers like this could make up to 90 parts per million of CO in the first 20 minutes of operation in the room, and the alarms are set to go off at 30 parts per million of CO in a room. So this is why the cookers are exempt. And like I said, which I've had on other videos, if I've got a boiler installed in the same room as a cooker, don't install the alarm in with the cooker, because the cooker could be setting the alarm off and causing you problems. Put the CO alarm in an adjacent room. It makes sense, hopefully. Just a word of warning, this isn't a CO alarm. This is a spot detector, and you can't use this as a CO alarm because it won't wake you up if there's CO in the room. That's a CO alarm. That's a spot detector. Now that's my look at the amendments to the Smoke and CO Alarm Regulations 2015, which comes out in force on the 1st of October 2022. So time of filming, 10 days time. Anyway, hope you liked the video. Catch you on the next one. Cheers.